Okay, it does a video now.
Was that noise?
Yes.
That was a smoke?
Beep! Video time. You can still do that. Because I did get back from seeing the Star Wars.
Oh shit, I'm not a part of it anymore. No.
We're now! that clip from Arrested Development always like cracks me. Like, here's some money, go see a Star Wars. So I just got back from seeing the Star Wars for the second time. My hair is at that length where it's impossible to make it look anything but stupid. It's too short to be long, but it's too long to be short. Got back from seeing the Star Wars for the second time, because imagine the concept of seeing a movie more than once before doing a video about it, in order to, like, allow thoughts to appear within your mind. Imagine the concept of watching a movie and going like, this is my feelings, and then letting those feelings settle, and then seeing it again to refresh the thoughts and feelings that you have. No. Let's watch a movie and then immediately sit down in the car in the parking lot of the theater and turn the camera on and start talking about it. That's not fucking retarded or anything. I don't understand this idea of like, I saw the thing, here's the front of my brain. Here's the things that happened at here's my face value, completely, like, first-hand, first dip opinion. Like, who consumes media, like, one time? You're supposed to rewatch it. You're supposed to play it again. You're supposed to read it again. Like, if you saw it once, you literally don't have an opinion. You just have, like, emotions. And I don't care about your emotions. Because you're probably gay. But anyway. So I saw it twice, and I liked it. Spoilers. It was a good movie, and I enjoyed it. Oh my god, controversy. Because apparently Star Wars is all political now for some stupid fucking reason. Like, I don't want to talk about that necessarily. And I don't want to go through the movie, like, beat for beat, like, every single, like, do just a fucking plot summary of it like I did for The Last Jedi, because I think the video that I did for The Last Jedi, I keep looking at Nick in the other room, instead of the camera. I think the video I did for The Last Jedi was, like, longer than the movie. So, I don't want to do that again. And I don't want this whole thing to just be me bitching about people not, like, saying, like, you know, oh, you didn't like it. Ooh, like, I don't care. It's not Sonic. I don't care if you don't like it. Like, it's just, that's that same feeling I have where it's like, you can have your opinion. You can feel however you want. You can not like stuff. I don't care. It's just, if you say, this is the reason that I don't like it, and I look at that reason, and I go, this is stupid. You're stupid. Then, like, I'm not gonna not say you're stupid. I'm not gonna, like, go like, oh, that's fair, that's fine. Like, no. The thing you said was dumb, and if that's the reason you don't like the movie, then that's a stupid fucking reason to not like a movie. You're literally just making shit up to not like in order to validate a fucking opinion that you decided that, like, the movie, like, you decided you didn't like the movie before it even came out, and then you went in looking for things to validate that. Like, just watch a movie and then feel a way about it. Don't decide what your opinion's gonna be and then, like, look for things to support that. Am I talking about Star Wars or Sonic again? Oh my god. Anyway, I don't care if you don't like the movie. There's things to not like about it. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, when I saw people going like, oh, The Last Jedi, I was like, oh yeah, like, a good third of that movie was fucking terrible. Like, that's totally fair. If you wanted to write off that entire movie because of the serious issues that it had, then yes, that's fine. But no, I turn around and people are going like, Luke is out of character, and it's like, how? Because he's not acting like he did in expanded universe novels that were never fucking canon. Okay, that's stupid. It's like, well, he tried to kill his nephew. It's like, did you watch the movie? Because it sounds like you didn't. Because that's not what happened in the movie. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, you see people complaining about this movie, and they're like, it just sounds like you read a plot synopsis on Wikipedia, and like maybe watched a YouTuber and their stupid fucking video. It's like this. And then so it's like, oh, that sounds dumb. I didn't like it. Like, you need to watch the movie. Because I don't know if you knew this. Star Wars is fucking dumb. Read the plot synopsis of A New Hope. It's or Empire. What's the plot synopsis of Empire Strikes Back? At the beginning, Luke gets attacked by a polar bear. And then Han Solo stuffs him into the stomach of the Tauntaun. And then they fight the Empire that's attacking their snow base. And then, like, oh fuck. And then Luke goes to a swamp and gets trained on how to be a space wizard by a gremlin, who talks backwards. And he's a puppet also. He's a puppet played by Jim Henson. Is that who I'm thinking of, the Muppet? Huh? Oh yeah, Frank Oz. Those behind the scenes videos are fucking great, by the way. But anyway, I'm being an asshole right now. And then meanwhile, Han sexually assaults Leia while they hide inside of a worm belly. There's a lot of vor in Empire Strikes Back, now that I think about it. And then Boba Fett gets to be overrated for like 2 scenes, and then they go to a cloud city where an overrated black character gets to like be on screen and do fucking nothing, and then everyone acts like he's such a great character. And then Han gets frozen in carbonite. You don't get explained what that is. That's just what happens. And then Luke fights Vader, gets his hand cut off, and then Vader goes, "Oh, I was your dad." And Luke's like, "No, you killed my dad." And then Vader's like, "No, actually, we retconned it. Turned out we retconned it off screen and decided that I was your dad all along." And Luke's like, "That doesn't make sense, though." And then he falls in a pit. That's the plot. That is what happens in Empire Strikes Back. If you didn't watch Empire Strikes Back and you heard that is what happened, you would probably think it sounds pretty dumb. So, like, whatever. Don't like the movie all you want, but maybe fucking watch it first, and then you'll be able to go, like, these are bad things about the movie, and you'll actually, like, sound like you know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, because, like, I like the movie. There were bad things in this movie. I'm going to talk about the things that I didn't like and I think were active negative elements of the movie first, because I'm going to be fair with you. I'm going to be fair and be like, here's, yeah, if you want to say this is a bad movie because of these reasons, I will agree with you and say, yes, these are fair reasons. If these negative aspects outweigh any possible positive things about the movie, and you decide you don't like it, totally fucking fair pool with me. Fair pool, motherfuckers. So, like I said, it's not just going to be a plot synopsis, I'm just going to talk about things, and I am going to spoil the shit out of it. So 9 minutes in, spoilers. I liked it. That's I thought it was a good movie, if you care. So the first half of the movie, I think, had all of the problems. Everything bad about this movie is in, like, the first hour and 15 minutes. I don't know, like, I don't know, like, the timestamp or anything. I was, tempted to pull out my phone and check what time it was so I could see, like, what point in the movie it was at. I didn't, because I'm not an asshole. Who the fuck pulls out their phone in the middle of a fucking movie theater? You're watching a movie? You fuck. So I don't know if it was exactly halfway through, but it felt like, okay, halfway through the movie, all of the problems I had with the movie, like, went away. But for the first half of the movie, the thing that stood out immediately to me, even when I watched it the first time, I was like, this movie is moving way too fast. It is like breakneck speed. Like, where are you like, movie, you're going too fast. Where are you going? Why are you in such a hurry to get there? Slow the fuck down and take a goddamn breath. Jesus Christ. There are scenes that should be really big, emotional, like, impactful moments that just the audience doesn't get time because the movie's just like zooming ahead, zippity doo dah. And there are other scenes that are just like, why are these scenes in the movie? Get rid of these scenes. You don't need them. Like the most relevant and prevalent example of the pacing issues with this movie is like at the very beginning when Rey's like, what did she say? She's like, I will earn. Yeah, she goes like, I will earn your brother's lightsaber. Yeah, some like bitch comes over and she's like, we haven't heard from the Falcon. And then Rey's like, I will earn your brother's lightsaber, and gives it to Leia. And then literally the next scene, like that scene ends, cut. Next scene, the Falcon's back. Oh yeah, great. Why did you have that character show up and say that if the thing she said literally doesn't matter 2 fucking seconds later? And then literally 2 minutes later, Rey's like, okay, I'm gonna go on my mission now. And then Leia just gives her back the lightsaber. And it's like, why have those things in the movie if you're not, like, if it doesn't matter that it happened? Oh, I'm gonna give up the lightsaber because I feel like I haven't earned it. Oh, wow, well, if you're just gonna give it to me, I'll just take it then, literally 2 minutes later. Like, stuff like that happened, like, kind of all throughout the first half of the movie. But, like, that's just the most point-toable example of, like, this is something where the pacing of this movie is actively working against the movie. Another thing I didn't like about it was, I think, and this kind of goes all throughout. Again, I feel like it gets dramatically better in the second half of the movie, but still kind of But the way, well, like it's also the editing too, because the editing, it just feels like way too. It feels. It's two things. It's like the action scenes and the way the action scenes are edited feels way too dynamic, which is a weird criticism. But like, there's too much going on. Like during the one scene where they're in the ship breaking Chewie out of prison, I'm gonna get to that. Like they get into like the detention level, and then the camera, like in a one shot, like just is zoomed in super close, this close to all the characters, and like starts spinning around in like a full 360, and you don't really get a sense of the environment or the characters blocking, because the camera's just like, the camera's moving around more than the characters are. And like, that just stands out as very un-Star Warsy to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. They're not necessarily bad action scenes. They just feel very conventional. They're very conventional, like Hollywoody action scenes. And it's Star Wars, and Star Wars' action scenes are not like that. Like, you watch the original movies, they all had different directors, but still very, like, consistent framing. Like, the cinematography is always very pulled out and, like, on a steady camera, so that you can see what is happening. Yeah, it's like you're watching the story happen over there. And that works, because the entire point of the Star Wars movies is that they're fairy tales. It's a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. The entire point is that they're fairy tales of, like, What's the generic opening line to a fairy tale? Yeah, once upon a time in a land far, far away. In a land, like, that's the entire point. They're fairy tales. Being all up in the action with the characters doesn't feel appropriate. And that leads to, like, this kind of last point. Because I feel like The Last Jedi didn't have that problem so much because it wasn't directed by J.J. Abrams. I feel like this movie being directed by J.J. Abrams worked to the movie's detriment. I feel like the movie would have benefited from having a new third director who was not J.J. Abrams and not Rian Johnson. Because, first of all, that would make it more like the original trilogy. The original trilogy was directed by 3 different directors. George Lucas did the first one, someone else did Empire Strikes Back, and then someone else did Return of the Jedi. George Lucas was in like a oversight role, and he wrote the story, but every movie had a different director. That's another thing, by the way. That's another stupid complaint, is people were going like, oh, there was no roadmap. They didn't plan the movies out. They just made it up as they went along. As if that's new? Like, all of a sudden, this is the reason these movies are bad. All of a sudden, oh, they didn't plan anything out. These sequels are bad because they didn't plan anything out. They didn't plan any of them out, you fucking idiots! They didn't plan out the original trilogy. They didn't even know there was gonna be a sequel. They hoped there would be a sequel, but they didn't know. The movie was originally just called Star Wars. They added Episode 4, A New Hope, later after they knew that they were going to make a second movie. And they didn't have it planned out. Vader being Luke's father was not the plan. They didn't know. He discovered a solution to a storytelling problem while writing Empire Strikes Back. And, like, yes, he had a vague idea of things he wanted to do in the movie. That doesn't mean he had it planned out. Like, the Ewok fight in Return of the Jedi. He wanted to do that in the first movie, they just couldn't do it. So when they got the chance to make the third movie, they took that idea and finally brought it to life. That doesn't mean that was the plan. It doesn't mean he had it planned out. It means he wanted to do it, and now he finally has his opportunity to do it. None of it was planned. And the prequels definitely weren't planned. Even though it was all George Lucas in that case, he didn't plan out shit. He knew roughly where it needed to end in order to match up with A New Hope's beginning, but they didn't plan out fucking anything. So why is it special now? Why is it a big deal now that the sequels weren't planned out? There was no roadmap. Oh, they should have planned it out. Well, they didn't for the other ones, and y'all pretend the prequels are good all of a sudden now, and the originals are brilliant movies. They didn't plan out shit. Who gives a fuck? That's Star Wars. Like, what do you want from it? What do you want? Yeah, I think it should have been, and that's another thing I see people say is like, oh, J.J. Abrams threw out everything Rian Johnson did, and he should have just done all 3 movies, and he should have planned it out. I disagree. I think an entirely different third director who wasn't J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson should have done it, and that way it wouldn't have had the problem of being held back by J.J. Abrams' really frantic, like, fucking pulse-pounding directorial style. Because you can feel that this movie was edited and directed by J.J. Abrams. To its detriment, I feel. Now, I mean, honestly, like, if you didn't know any better, if you watched Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and then this movie, one after another, like, they're very clearly directed by different people, but you wouldn't notice any friction. There's no friction. I don't know what people are talking about where they're saying, like, J.J. Abrams, like Rian Johnson fucking poisoned the well and J.J. Abrams had to drink out of it. Like, no, it works. It's totally fine as a trilogy. I don't see what people are like. That's one of those things where it's like, that's a weird, stupid criticism. J.J. Abrams, like, I feel the opposite. That J.J. Abrams should not have directed this movie. I felt like it would have been better if someone else had directed it. Who? I don't know. I don't really do movies. I saw 2 movies in theaters this year. I saw Godzilla King of the Monsters and this. Those are the 2 movies I saw in theaters this year. I'm not a movie person. Yeah, those are really the only things I thought were actively bad about the movie, is the pacing in the first half, the editing, and, like, the action scenes in general, especially with their... But, like, that was another thing that I remember saying this about Force Awakens, is there's no wipes in this movie. There's no wiping screen transitions, where, you know, that's all over the original Star Wars. And the prequels is... I did this joke already in another video, in, like, Force Awakens, I think, where it's like, what Star Wars will do is do that, like, fade transition where we're like, ooh, and now it's a different scene. There's, like, none of that in this movie, and that's why I saw it a second time, because I did notice there were a few wipes, but they're so fast. They're just like, whoop, and now we're in a different scene. And they're so few and far between, it's like, why did they bother? Because so often, the editing in this movie will just be like, and now we're on this planet, and now we're over here, we're on this planet now. Oh, now we're over here. There's, like, it really feels disorienting. That, like, you don't really get to be in one place, because it keeps snapping back and forth. There's a scene where, like, after the like, canyon chase when they're on the speeders, during the, oh, they fly now scene. They fly now. Don't let your memes be dreams, kids. When they, like, crash and then sink into the black sand, it, like, the camera pulls back and shows the black sand that they sunk into, and then it cuts to fucking the Resistance and big X-Wing fighter guy. He's not fat, but I called him the fat X-Wing fighter. He's not fat, but the fat X-Wing fighter comes over and he's like, Leia, we haven't heard any news from the Falcon. And then it just cuts back to them back on the planet, like, underneath the sand. Like, why did you need that scene? You didn't need that scene. There's no reason that this scene needs to be in the movie. It adds nothing. You could have, like, showed them sinking down into the sand, and then just cut to them coming out where they end up, underneath in the tunnels. You don't need that scene. There's so many scenes all over this movie, this first half of this movie, where it's like, just get rid of this. Like, you're wasting time on this scene when you could have instead used that minute of film and given this more important scene that you kind of skim right past time to breathe. Those are the only things that I feel like were actively bad about the movie. And then there's stuff that I feel like it's not bad, but it's not a good thing. Like, I enjoyed it, but the movie should not have wanted me to enjoy it. Like, this is something I like about the movie, but the fact that I like it is not something that the movie did. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, it just may see. This couch fucking makes me lean forward like crazy. The biggest and funniest example to me is the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren finally get to be in this movie. Remember in Force Awakens when it had the flashback to Kylo Ren destroying the Jedi Temple, and it showed him with all those dudes, and it was like, oh, those are the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren are in this movie. Kind of. Because there's this scene where, like, it introduces the Knights of Ren, and they're, like, walking through, and the Stormtrooper's like, Knights of Ren. Oh, they're cool guys. And then it is not in the movie. Every so often, like, it'll cut to the Knights of Ren, and they'll be looking badass, and just be like, yeah, we're in the movie. And then it'll just cut away, and they don't get to do anything. It's like, hey, can we be in the movie now? No. Okay. They're just standing there, menacingly! They don't do anything throughout the entire fucking movie. They just show up to look cool, and then they don't do anything. It's fucking hilarious. It would, like, even the first time I saw it, It would literally get to the point where whenever it showed the Knights of Ren, I'd be like, oh, hey, look, they're still in the movie. Bye. They're like literally only exist to be a final boss for Ben to fight at the end. And it's like kind of a huge letdown. Like, I don't give a shit about expanded universe material anymore. I don't read the comics, I don't read the books, I don't give a fuck about any of that. I just watch the movies. So, like, you watch the movies, the Knights of Ren are like a non-presence. They just show up, kind of, in this movie to be a final boss for Ben to fight. But if I, like, cared about the lore and the expanded universe of these new movies, I would be pretty fucking bummed out that the Knights of Ren don't get fucking punked super hard in this movie. It's kind of a huge bummer. But whatever. Like, again, that's not a bad thing about the movie. Because it amused the shit out of me whenever I'd see the Knights of Ren. It's like, hi guys, we're still in the movie. I got my cool axe. Everybody see my cool axe? I'm in the movie, you guys. And the helmet I thought was really funny too. Because it's like, why did you even bother remaking the helmet? Just to look cool? I guess it does kind of look cool. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's another, like, oh, J.J. Abrams just is erasing what Rian Johnson did. I don't think so, because they call attention to the fact that they, like, Kylo Ren gets his mask back, and then he walks into a room, and he's like, well, General Hux, you got a problem? And then Hux is like, with the mask? No. No problem. I like it. Like, literally, a character goes, I like it. Like, oh yeah, the mask looks cool, boss. Like, they're making a joke out of it. Like, it's fine. The movie knows, you guys. You don't get to, like, shit on it when it knows. Don't get to shit on it when it's opening its mouth. You know what I'm saying? Don't. No. Anyway. Like, that's not a problem. And that was another thing. Like, the first scene with Rey, it like, cuts to her, and and she's, like, sitting with her little meditation pose, floating in the air with a bunch of rocks floating around her. And it's like, oh, they're just embracing it super hard. They don't give a fuck. Like, that is how you do it. Because everyone was like, oh, Rey, she's so OP, she's so overpowered, she's a Mary Sue. So they just like, okay, fuck it. Like, she's literally just sitting there, like, doing the most overpowered bullshit ever. And it's like, that's funny. If you make it funny, I don't have a problem with it. It's hilarious. Like, she's so crazily overpowered that it's fucking hilarious. Like, it wraps all the way back in around itself and becomes stupidly funny. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna do the Jedi mind trick for the first time. The Force Awakens, I'm gonna do the Jedi mind trick. How does she know how to do the Jedi mind trick? This movie, she does the Jedi mind trick and then does it again, and it's fucking stupid. She literally goes like, it's okay that we're here. And the stormtroopers go like, oh yeah, it's okay that you're here. You're relieved that we're here. Oh, it's so good that you guys are here. Hey, guys. And it's funny. Like, it's fine. And that was one thing that I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm not following, like, a linear plot description, so I'm just kind of jumping all over the place. Something I kind of don't like about what they did with Rey is, like, they imply, you know, the reason she's so powerful is because, and like, I'll like, start over. Because I'm still kind of talking about, like, stuff I didn't like about, like, not stuff I didn't like, but stuff that was kind of like, like, stuff I thought was bad, stuff that was like, I did not like it, but if you said that was stupid, then yeah, you're right, but it fucking made me laugh, so I don't have a problem with it. Like Chewie, like, oh, they killed Chewie. 2 seconds later, they show Chewie being alive. Movie, you need to let things happen. You need to let the audience have an emotion. Like, they killed Chewie, and I was like, oh, shit. What the fuck? And then, next scene, cut to the Star Destroyer, we have a prisoner. And it's Chewie. That's like, Good job, movie. Good job. You did a good job there. What else? Like, just comes to the front of my head. Oh yeah, Palpatine. Palpatine's behind it all. Palpatine's behind it all, guys. There are a lot of memes in this movie that really made me laugh. Palpatine gets his little. There are some powers there are powers in the dark side that some consider to be unnatural, and it's like memes. And then he says, "Do it, do it." And it's like he said the thing, and then he has this big like unlimited power. He doesn't say the words unlimited power, but when it happens, it's like it's unlimited power. That's so fucking like there are so many memes in this movie, and not like in your face. They're like they're inside jokes, which are fine. Like the things that they were trying to make memes were kind of like I wouldn't have even cared. Like the line that everyone like makes fun of, like, oh, they fly now. That would not have stood out to me as a moment worth even paying attention to unless people had made a meme out of it. Like people like were offended or whatever by that moment. Like if I just saw the movie without knowing that people were talking about that, I wouldn't even like notice. But there are a lot of parts where it's like, they know what they're doing. That's a thing, and they did it, and it was funny. So like, at first, like, and right at the beginning of the movie just fucking hits you in the face with Palpatine. Palpatine's back. The dead speak. Palpatine's alive. Fuck you. Play Fortnite. I don't know anything about that. It's just something I saw someone talk about. Like, literally right at it's not even a spoiler. Literally right at the beginning of the movie, Palpatine just shows up. And it's like, yeah, I'm alive. And I'm like, how are you alive? And he's like, shut up. and like, at first, I was like, this is dumb. Why is Palpatine back? This is weird. Why? It's dumb, and I don't, like, why? But then by the end of the movie, like, it started to make sense to me, and I was fine with it. It's an imperfect solution to like a, not really a problem, but like, by the end of the movie, they kind of established that Palpatine is not so much Palpatine. He is the embodiment of all the Sith. He is like the avatar of the dark side of the Force. He's more of like a representation of like evil than his own character. So like, I'm fine with that. If you're gonna have anyone be that, it fits to have it be Palpatine. Because like the saga began with Palpatine and now it ends with Palpatine. So like, it's way better to have Palpatine be I am all of the Sith than fucking Snoke, who no one gives a shit about. Like, can you imagine if it had been Snoke instead, and Snoke was the one going, I am all the Sith, and I'm gonna do other thing? Like, no one gives a shit. I think it works way better to have a character we already know about fulfill that role. And then it lets you do memes. Memes are good. I like memes. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about stuff I like now. Again, there's stuff I liked ironically, and then there's stuff that I'm like, this is dope. This is dope ass movie. This is movie time right now. Like, people kind of complain about like, people say it's like Marvelness. It's too quippy. It's too marvelly. Like, I think the relationships that the characters have with each other is good. It's believable. More than before, I feel like the main characters in this movie have that feeling of like a D&D party group. Like, there's the one character who's like the Mary Sue. There's like the character who's just like both of their best friends, and he has that like camaraderie. And then there's the one character who's like, he's got like a backstory that keeps coming into play. Like, the two movies before this, like, had no interaction between the three of them, and it was kind of weird. Like, this is the new trio, this is the new Star Wars trio, the new Luke, Han, and Leia, and they, like, had no screen time together. They spend a lot of time together in this movie, and you really get a sense for their relationship, how Finn and Rey are really, really close, and Finn and Poe are total bros, but Rey and Poe don't really like each other that much, but they still work together, and they have, like, dynamics, unique dynamics between them, and I thought it worked really well. Because something that, and like, you know, you can complain about the dialogue, I guess, being really, you know, too jokey. It's like, it's too jokey, but like, it just feels grounded. Like, George Lucas is not a good dialogue person. All the dialogue in the old movies is kind of shitty. It's either serviceable for the plot, it's like philosophical monologues, or it's just garbage, or it's something that the actor made up on the spot, right? Like, like the best example is always like, when I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master. Only a master of evil doth. That's George Lucas dialogue for you. The best lines are either from that you remember from the movies are either philosophy, like Yoda's speeches from Empire, or shit the actors just made up. They improv their lines and people remember it because it's an actor getting to be an actor. A lot of good, like, acting, like, oh, this is an acting moment in this movie, too. You know, like, I liked their dynamic. I thought, like, yes, it's very, this is a Hollywood script, but that's not a bad thing. You know, like, yes, but it's not a bad thing. It works. It's like, it's not a negative against the movie. It works. This is a movie that they're making. It's fine. And there are even some good, there are some parts I thought were genuinely really good. Like, when, when they're on, like, the dark, like, the nighttime city planet, and they're meeting Poe's, like, friend, old girlfriend, Zoe, or whatever her name is. I thought all of the, like, that character is fucking awesome. I thought all of the dialogue that they had with that character between Poe and her was really good. I really liked that character. Everything about her was dope, and she wasn't used too much. She, like, had, she was on that planet, she had a couple of really good scenes, you got a real sense of her history as an individual, and as Poe's, like, part of Poe's backstory. She didn't overstay her welcome, she wasn't shoved in your face, she was a good character, and had a good amount of screen time. And they had some good moments where, like, at the ending, where he's like, and then she's like, he's like, oh. Like, that's a great moment. Like, fuck you. That's a good moment of the movie. Everything I really, 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 really like, that's enough. Okay. I wanted to, like, write stuff down, but again, I didn't just want to go through the movie scene for scene for scene. So I'm just kind of grabbing stuff that I remember. An example of a moment, like, movie, you really should have taken a fucking second and let the audience have an emotional fucking reaction to this, was, like, they just kill Hux. Like, oh, the spy was Hux. Blam. And now Hux is dead. And they just, like, skip right past it. Like, General Hux, this bad guy, like, the other bad guy for all three movies. Blam, he's dead now. We found our spy. Cut. Do you want to maybe, like, let the audience react to the fact that the second of the three primary antagonists of this series is just killed now? Like, that if you wanted to argue that that was kind of a bad thing about this sequel trilogy, yeah, like, there was Snoke, Kylo Ren, and Hux. Those were the three big bad guys. And Snoke just got killed like a bitch, Hux just got killed like a bitch, and Kylo Ren stopped being a bad guy. And then Palpatine comes in and he's like, I'm the bad guy now. And it's like, it's kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater on this one, but whatever. Feel like that could have worked. that's like having Hux killed that way could have worked, but the movie just didn't spend any time on it. You could have spent time on that moment and let that moment really sink in, but no, they just like kind of wanted to get past it as fast as possible. I don't get why. Yeah, like most, like there are some things from the first half. Like I liked that character on that planet, Zoe. I don't remember, like, you know, Star Wars names. I liked all of the scenes between Rey and Ben. All of the scenes between Rey and Ben where they like have the Force connection, like brilliant. And that's one of those things where I'm like, what are people talking about? They're just throwing out everything that was in The Last Jedi. What are you talking about? They take like the Force bond, like the connection that they have seeing each other through the Force, and go even further with it in this movie, where like she sees him when they're on the desert planet at the festival. By the way, all the practical effects in this movie. Don't know how anyone can be hating on this movie when it's like almost 90% practical fucking effects. Practical fucking aliens. You know? Come on, people. You're not picking your battles here. Anyway. The scene where like they're talking to each other and like he's on his ship and then she's at the, you know, the festival. And it's like that connection still exists between them, and it was established in The Last Jedi, and they do even more with it. Like he reaches out and he takes the necklace she had on. And it's like, oh fuck. And then they do it again on the Nighttime City planet, and they have a fight while cutting back and forth between the two locations that they're in. Like they cut open the pot full of berries, and the berries spill over in the ship. It's like, it's so cool. Those scenes are really badass. And then people say like, oh, Rey's Palpatine's granddaughter, so like what they just act like they're retconning that, and it's like, yeah, but it makes sense because number one, like there's two things about it. Number one, in that scene in The Last Jedi where Kylo Ren is telling her, I know about your parents, they were nothing, you came from nothing, you are nothing. Number one, he is just feeding off of her feelings. She knows the truth, which is that her parents were nothing. She went into that, like, black hole, the dark side hole, looking for answers, and found nothing. And he knows that because of their connection, so he's just feeding off of what she already feels. He is giving voice to what she has already answered for herself. So, like, he didn't know that she was Palpatine's granddaughter. He's just telling her what she already found out for herself, and she didn't know that she was Palpatine's granddaughter. They both had to be told that. Kylo Ren got told by Palpatine. He didn't know that. He didn't magically know who her parents were. He just took the information that she had, and, you know, why would he have any reason to doubt the information that she decided for herself? And then, also, he's clearly trying to emotionally manipulate her in that scene. Like, we were dumb for taking that scene at face value. Like, I thought it was great at the time, but in retrospect, he's clearly trying to emotionally manipulate her. He's clearly going like, you came from nothing, you are nothing. But not to me. I can bring you meaning. Like, he's negging her. He's literally, like, trying to corrupt her and get her to join his side in that scene. So, no, that moment is not being invalidated just because it turns out, oh, her parents mattered after all. Fuck you. Like, what are people complaining about here? I don't have a problem with her being Palpatine's kid. What I have a problem with is the implication that, like, Force lightning is a genetic thing. Like, oh, she shoots the Force lightning because she's Palpatine's kid. Whatever. Where was I? Like, the scene with them... Yeah, like, the connection between them in the Force and the scenes where they fight each other and interact with each other via that connection are really great. I really love those moments. And those are from the first half. Like, that's not even a half the movie that I think is all that good. And then, like, something I think is kind of a interesting, like, theme of the movie is... So, like, people said The Force Awakens was just a remake of A New Hope. That it's just emulating A New Hope beat for beat, right? Whatever. And then The Last Jedi was Empire Strikes Back upside down. Whatever. This movie, I don't think really like copies Return of the Jedi because there's no Jabba's palace. There's nothing in this movie that I would evoke to Jabba's palace. There's no Moon of Endor. There's nothing in this movie that I would evoke to the Moon of Endor. They have a speeder bike fight. Sure, that's evocative. They literally go to the Death Star. That is the point where I'm like, they're not copying Return of the Jedi. They're intentionally evoking Return of the Jedi. It almost feels like elements of Return of the Jedi are showing up and they have to defeat it. It almost feels like it's still continuing the theme of let the past die, of kill the past and like do your own thing. Like they have to kill the original trilogy before they can do anything original. And how do you do that? By going to the corpse of the Death Star and killing and bringing Palpatine back just to kill him. Like that's the one where it's almost like, yeah, it feels like they're not copying Last Jedi. They're calling the Last Jedi out almost. She literally goes to the Death Star. That was another kind of moment where it's like the movie isn't establishing certain things to its own detriment because she goes to like the Death Star and she gets in there. I really like the opening scene, by the way. The opening scene almost has like no dialogue for like a full couple of minutes. It's just Kylo Ren being a badass and going to the planet. Anyway, so she goes to the Death Star, she opens the vault, and then she has like a vision. She has a dark side encounter. That's not from Return of the Jedi. That's from Empire. That's the scene in Empire where Luke goes into the cave and then has a vision where he fights Darth Vader. She has a vision where she fights an evil version of herself. That's not from Return of the Jedi. There's nothing in Return of the Jedi that's evocative of that moment. And then she gets out, and then Ben's there, or Kylo Ren is there, and they have to fight Kylo Ren. And it's like, is he there? I was going, is he there? Is he there, or is this like a Force connection thing? You didn't really establish how the fuck did he get there. But then later you see, oh, he had his TIE fighter. So that's how he got there. Okay, so he was literally there. It was kind of confusing. I like the choreography of the lightsaber fights in this trilogy kills any argument that anyone can have about the prequels. Oh, the prequels choreography. Like, no, the prequels choreography is bad. This is how you do choreography for lightsaber fights, okay? It's good. Like, oh, but the dagger disappeared in The Last Jedi. Like, shut the fuck up. This is good choreography. This is, like, what you can do with lightsaber combat and Force users in the year of our Lord 2019. These movies have good fight scene choreography. Sigma dick. Yeah, I feel like as soon as she gets to the Death Star, the movie, like, all the problems I have with the movie go away. Like, the pacing really starts slowing down and taking its time. The action scenes don't have that frenetic problem where it's like fucking woo, 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 woo. And like even the kind of like kerfuffles with like dialogue or like character interaction start going away because that's odd. And the movie made me cry. So, you know, I liked it. It made me cry. the moment where fucking Chewbacca finds out that Leia died. Because Carrie Fisher's in this movie, and then she dies, because that's inappropriate. That's really inappropriate, you guys. You can't kill Carrie Fisher like that. I thought that was a cool scene, though. And a benefit to watching a movie a second time, because when she, like, reaches out to Ben through the Force, she's holding the medal. Notice that. She's holding the medal. So she's, like, calling on the spirit of Han in order to reach out to their son. And, like, that whole thing where, like, Rey is totally giving in to the dark side during that fight, too. Like, he comes out and he's like, he's trying to talk to her. And she's just going, give it to me, do it. And he's, like, freaking out almost. He's like, whoa, she's, like, really succumbing to the dark side here. And he's, like, trying to convince her, and she doesn't even want to talk to him. And then they start fighting, and she straight wants to murder that boy. She straight wants to kill him. And she does. She totally gives in to her hate and anger in that moment, and, like, fucking kills him. And it's only Leia dying and her feeling that kind of pulls her back, and realizing, like, oh, I've made a mistake. And realizes, like, you know, I'm letting her down by doing this, by like, giving into that emotional, like, fucking crisis. And that's another thing, like, people are like, you look up online, people are like, since when can the Force heal people? Oh, they released an episode of The Mandalorian early that showed the Force healing people. They never knew they could do that. Ben uses the Force to heal Luke in episode 4. Literally the first scene with Obi-Wan Kenobi in it, he's using it to heal Luke. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We've literally seen that before in the very first Star Wars movie. Y'all dumb. Y'all motherfuckers need to watch Jesus. Y'all motherfuckers need to watch these movies. Like, no one's watching these fucking movies. Oh, a parsec in Star Wars is a unit of time. No, because Dexter describes a parsec as a unit of measurement. You're just gay and dumb. Fuck you. Anyway. Yeah, I liked their fight scene on the Death Star. I liked Carrie Fisher. Like, I don't even know if it was Carrie Fisher. I don't know how they did that, because I'm pretty sure she's dead. That's sad. Where, like, she calls out to him, and, like, she kills him, but then she feels bad about it, so she gives him back to life. The rule of 3, they show her using the power of the Force to heal 3 times. She uses it on the snake, she uses it on him, and then at the end he uses it on her. Filmmaking. It seems kind of silly that they remade the mask, because he shows up to the Death Star without the mask, and then he doesn't wear the mask for the rest of the movie. Why even bother remaking the mask just to have a new toy to sell? Just to have a toy of Kylo Ren with the rebuilt mask to sell? That's what it feels like. And I like the scene where fucking my boy Mark Hamill gets to show up and be fucking Mark Hamill, and it's great. And I like the scene that's a flashback to, like, CGI young Luke and Leia, and he's like, because, like, of course he would have trained her to be a Jedi. Of course. Like, that was, like, the expanded universe was always stupid, and it was never canon, but the idea that Leia would not have taken Jedi training was always so dumb, and, like, why wouldn't we have... Of course Leia took Jedi training. Of course. Why did we think otherwise? Like, that's so natural that Luke would have trained her to become a Jedi. She didn't ultimately become one, for reasons the movie explains, but of course it makes sense that he would have trained her. So that scene was great. I've been talking for too long. I like the ending. Like, there was the stars and there was the wars. The big space battle at the end was really cool. I don't know why you needed, like, And the space battle, it's like kind of evoking the ending of Return of the Jedi, but not really, because there's the space battle, but it's not in space, it's within the atmosphere of the planet. And then there's the lightsaber fight, but not really, because there's no Darth Vader for Rey to have a lightsaber fight against. There's just this emotional confrontation between Force users, but there's no lightsaber fight between a green lightsaber and a red, or a blue lightsaber and a red lightsaber. They just have an emotional like confrontation between Jedi and Force users. So that's not really the same thing. There's a space battle, but it's not in space, and it's not against a Death Star, so that's not really the same thing. And there's no analog to the shield bunker ground-based combat. Like, Finn has to, like, go down with, like, a ground unit, but, like, I think they just put that in there to have an excuse to have Finn still do something in the movie, because otherwise, like, what would he be doing? Like, Finn just needed something to do. We needed to have this part of the action scene so Finn can have something to do. That's not really comparable to the shield bunker fight conflict in Return of the Jedi. That's just an extension of the space combat fight. And the moment where, like, all the reinforcements show up, that's not evocative of anything from Return of the Jedi. And that was a really cool moment. That was, like, a big, like, wow, that's actually really, like, a big, like, pulse-pounding, like, yeah, fuck America, fuck yeah moment. So, like, the ending of the movie is, like, kind of Return of the Jedi, but also not at all, you know? And I thought it worked really well. I mentioned this earlier. The movie made me cry when Leia died. Not necessarily her dying, that still hit me, but when Chewie found out about it. And it's like Chewie, and it's like they tell, like, Chewie and Finn and Poe show up, and it's like Leia's dead, and Chewie, like, fucking falls apart. And he, like, falls to his knees, and, like, fucking no, and he grabs his head, and, like, oh my god, poor Chewie has seen all three of them die. Chewie saw Han die, his boy, he saw Luke die, Leia's dead, like, poor fucking Chewie has seen all of his buddies die. Like, that is such a bummer, man. I felt Chewie in that moment, you know what I mean? And then, like, talk about a shocking moment. Ben has a scene where fucking the ghost of Han Solo, not really a ghost, but, like, Han Solo shows up. And it gets to have an emotional moment with Ben, and it's like, wow, I can't believe I cannot believe that Harrison Ford showed up for this movie. So that's a cool moment on, like, a meta level, and then that whole scene was really beautiful, because it, like, called back to when they met in The Force Awakens, and Ben gets to redeem himself. And I like that at the ending, too. Ben gets to redeem himself. He shows up as a good guy to help out Rey, and he finally gets to use the lightsaber. He's been after that lightsaber since Force Awakens. He, like, wanted that lightsaber super bad. He wanted it in The Last Jedi, too. Finally, now that he's a good guy, now that he's redeemed himself, Rey gives him Anakin's lightsaber, and he gets to use it. And it's like, that's really fulfilling for his character. And then at the end, after she kills Palpatine's behind her all. After she kills Palpatine, she dies, which is like, whatever. I don't really know why she died. I guess just so that the next thing could happen, where Ben, like, crawls out. Welcome to the not dying when you fall into a pit gang. Like, he crawls out and then uses the Force thing to bring her back to life. And then they're, like, yeah, in each other's arms, and I was sitting there in the theater going, like, kiss, 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 kiss. And then they kissed, and it's like, yeah, they kissed, and it was a great scene. And then Ben dies. And it's like, what? And my knee-jerk reaction was, what the fuck? He just dies? Like, he just kind of just falls down and dies. And it's like, no, I'm not happy about that. But then, that was my knee-jerk reaction. Then I thought about it, and I'm fine with it, because it makes sense. It's an appropriate way for his character to end, because, I mean, think about it. He redeemed himself by showing up and helping out Rey, but he could never be forgiven. You know what I mean? Like, Kylo Ren as the lead, as like a leader of the First Order, has just committed untold atrocities. He could never be forgiven. He could only in death could he be redeemed for the crimes that he has committed. So like, he helps Rey. He earns Rey's forgiveness, and she saved him. But only in death can he be redeemed. And it calls back to Vader. Vader sacrificing himself to save the person that he cared about, and dying in the process. And it fulfills the theme, which was Kylo Ren's driving motivation of let the past die. With Ben Skywalker, or Ben Solo, with his death, the Skywalker line has been ended. It's like that joke of like, the Star Wars movies is just one family fucking up the galaxy for 3 generations. The Skywalker line is over. With Ben's death, there are no more Skywalkers. So he killed the past by dying. So I do think it was fulfilling, and it made sense for his character, even though that's kind of a huge bummer, but what can you do? That's what fan art's for. And then I like the ending too, where like they all get back and it's just the 3 of them and they hug, and it's just really just these actors getting to have this emotional fucking breakdown, which I thought, again, these actors did a really good job. That scene where they're hugging at the end was really good. And then the movie closes out with Rey giving Anakin one last fuck you by burying his lightsaber in the sand. I hate sand. Why did you put it there? And she takes the Luke and Leia's lightsabers and buries them. It's like, here you will rest until the next sequel has need of you. One day a sequel will come and have need of these lightsabers, and we will keep them here where they can be where they can be safe until the sequel arrives. I really liked it. Overall, I think it lands as a good movie. If I had to like do a tier list of like top to bottom Star Wars, now that all 3 of the sequels are over, where do I think they rank? Where do they stack up? I would put, okay, this is going to be controversial. Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars. Then New Hope, then Empire. Here's the thing though. For me, the original trilogy is like a 3-way tie. I think that like all of them do something better than the other 2 do, and pull their own weight. Like, they all bring something original to the table. Like, New Hope is a perfect movie. There's nothing you can add or take away that would improve it. It's so tight, and it's pure, and it's a perfect film. It is a fucking film. You know what I mean? Empire Strikes Back has the best character moments. It has the best, like, exploration of the themes and the philosophies of the universe. And it has the best lightsaber fight at the end. Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars because it has the most stars and it has the most wars. It has, like, the Battle of Endor at the end is just such a great action sequence that it, like, pretty much buoys up that entire movie for me. I love that whole action scene at the ending with the space battle and the shield bunker battle and the lightsaber fight. It just fucking pulls it out. And it's like, man, I love watching that shit. So for me, that's my favorite. That's the one I would want to watch again over the other 2. Empire Strikes Back is the best, like, intellectually but you know, you have to be in kind of a certain mood to want to sit down. Like, it's not a super entertaining movie. You know what I mean? Return of the Jedi is the most entertaining movie. And then A New Hope is like just so fucking it's like film, it's like movies, what movies are. And then Empire Strikes Back has the most like that sparks the intellect and most that makes you think about it. It's so well made and so well put together. But you gotta be in the mood for that kind of thing, you know. It's sort of an artsy fartsy Star Wars movie, so to speak. But all three of them are like neck and neck and neck, and it's really just personal preference at that point as far as I'm concerned. All three of those movies are on such a upper echelon of film. They have like the Star Wars movies, those first three, completely redefined culture. They are cultural landmarks. Like, you can't touch them. Then I would say this one, Rise of Skywalker, and then The Last Jedi, and then The Force Awakens. Because to me, it's not that the movies get better and better and better. It's not a lateral progression of quality from Force Awakens to Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker. And I will say, I think Rise of Skywalker, like, you can't say it's not a better movie than Last Jedi. Because The Last Jedi had a lot of problems. There's no Space Vegas in Rise of Skywalker. There's no Poe's, like, mutiny in Admiral Holdo in Last Skywalker, and Rise of Skywalker. By the way, a throwaway line that character says, like, straight up Holdo tactics. Like, I don't know what people are talking about where they say this movie discounts The Last Jedi. There's a scene on Endor at the end where it shows them overthrowing the First Order, where it shows someone else did the, like, hyperspace blow up the Star Destroyer thing. I don't know what people are talking about. So, it's not a lateral progression where, like, oh, The Last Jedi was better than The Force Awakens, and then Rise of Skywalker was better than The Last Jedi. I just feel like Force Awakens is a well-made film, but it doesn't do anything special. It is the least special of the three. Like, it's super good, and it's a well-made film, and there's not a lot wrong with it. It has the least wrong with it, I think. There's the least tangible point to and say, like, that is a bad thing about this movie things, but it's the least special. It's the least inspiring. You know what I mean? The Last Jedi has a lot of problems. There's a lot wrong with that movie. But what it does good buoys it up. Like, the good things about The Last Jedi are better, like, count for more than the bad things about it. And I do love that it tries to, like, deconstruct Star Wars. It's the closest that a Star Wars movie is going to get to Knights of the Old Republic 2. And Knights of the Old Republic 2 is my favorite Star Wars anything ever. And then Rise of Skywalker is just straight up, like, a fun movie to watch. It has the most stars, it has the stars, and it has the wars, you know? And there are some shots in this movie that are brilliant and just beautiful to look at. And it's still, like, all practical effects. Like, it's a good fucking, it's a fucking A+ Hollywood movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll sit down, you watch it, you eat the popcorn, it's a movie. You know what I'm saying? And then, the prequels. They're all shit. I don't care. The prequels are bad movies. Fuck you. I like the sequels. I like all of the sequels. Obviously, the original movies are better, but, like, what do you want? You know? It's Star Wars. It has the stars and it has the wars. You know what? That's what I'm excited about. Now that the sequels are over, the pop culture around Star Wars can finally be about the sequels. Because that's the thing. Like, TIE Fighter, Jedi Outcast, Dark Forces, those games that, like, are famously remembered for, like, being the best from the original Star Wars trilogy, those were made after those movies were done. Like, they didn't make TIE Fighter and Dark Forces until after Return of the Jedi had been over. For a while. You know? Like, Now that all three of those Star Wars of the sequels are done, and that's a reason that almost all of the expanded universe material, almost all of the video games from the Clone Wars era, is god awful garbage that no one cares about or remembers because they were making them before Episode 3 came out. I think the only game that's worth giving a shit about from that era of Star Wars was Clone Wars. Was Republic Commando. They, like, almost every other game made before Revenge of the Sith came out sucked ass, okay? Republic Commando was the only good Star Wars game that came out of the prequel era that came out before Revenge of the Sith. Knights of the Old Republic doesn't count, not that era. It's a totally different thing. Like, Battlefront 2 only came out after Revenge of the Sith. Don't know what to tell you. Once all three movies are done, like, I'm looking forward to having games set during the sequel trilogy. Like, now that all the sequels are done, we can have games set during the sequel trilogy. And like I said before, I'm happy that the children of this generation have a Star Wars that's a Star Wars. They know what a Stormtrooper is. They know what an X-Wing is. They know what a TIE Fighter is. Like, you don't have to fucking, like, take the Clone Wars bullshit and accept that as what Star Wars is. This is an acceptable fucking, like, if kids growing up today watch these movies and that is what Star Wars is to them, I'm satisfied with that. And I'm looking forward to what is done with the Star Wars brand in other media, in video games in particular, now that the sequels are finally done. Like, now that the sequels are finally done, I think we can start actually enjoying them. I enjoy them already, but now that they're all done, maybe now we can finally enjoy them. Or we can bitch about politics and Disney on Twitter. Whatever. I like the movies. You should go watch it, because it's a good movie.